Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
So did we officially start, Jacob, the podcast?
Yeah,
I think because you said we officially started, we've officially started.
We did?
Yes.
Oh, that's
it's
fantastic.
begun.
Oh, wow.
And you hear a voice joining us there. You can hear it echoing in the background. So it means we have a guest.
We have a guest.
We absolutely have a guest.
That's terrific.
This week on the Biofriendly Podcast, we are welcoming James Pribram. I said it right that time, right?
Yes, you did. Pretty close.
Okay. James is the founder of...
Close.
Huh? Yeah. Real close. James is the founder of EcoWarrior Foundation. He's a professional surfer. He's been in the water for probably his whole life, it sounds like. Is that about right?
Pretty much. I would say technically former professional surfer for about 21 years. And now I am just working in stunts and TV and film, and then also executive director of the EcoWarrior Foundation.
Awesome.
Wow. So stunts. So what are you? Do you do like water stunts and things on surfboards, or is it all sorts of stuff?
I'm mostly just an ocean guy. So I do when there's a surfing part, I'll double the guy who needs somebody to do actual surfing or any sort of ocean related water type stuff. I do a lot of water safety stuff as well. So it's super fun. I work on the TV show Animal Kingdom quite a bit. Done a few films the last couple of years.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's been fun. Super fun.
So in surfing, what's your preference? Do you like big waves? Do you like what's your what's a perfect day of surfing for you? Like what's like if you're gonna go out and you're gonna pick and you're gonna have everything happen perfectly for you, what would it look like out there?
No one else out there. Just no one.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I cared more about how big it was. Was it hollow? Was it rippable? You know, blah, blah, blah. Now it's just, I just want to get out there, get away from people, get away with this whole 2020 pandemic, election year, all the bullshit. I just want to be out there by myself, you know? So I'm like, this year's, I haven't had it too bad this year, to be honest. I do take care of my mom and dad, so it's been very difficult for them. But
sure,
you know, back to your question, I love being in the ocean, and I enjoy it even more when there's no one else out there.
Yeah. Well, you get that time to yourself. You can be just in your mind, particularly when you're on the board and just cruising along. I'm sure it's probably great for your mind. Probably very, very peaceful. Yeah.
I've always believed that the ocean is very healing and has the power to change people. Yeah. And it's just always been my first love, and somewhere where I go just to get away, just to reset, regroup perspective. It's having the mood of having that appreciation, having that love for the ocean, literally growing up on the beach in Laguna and realizing my dream as being a professional surfer, and then now having the opportunity to give back to our beaches and oceans through the EcoWarrior Foundation.
That's a perfect transition into, we want to let the audience know one of the main reasons you're on the show today, and the timeliness of you being a guest, which is really cool, is that September, I think in the past it's been a coastal cleanup day in the month, but this month they're kind of referencing all of September 2020 as a coastal cleanup month, really asking people to go out there and clean up the coast. And that's a huge part of what EcoWarrior does, right, is the coastal cleanups. It's a big part of what you guys are about.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that's our main initiative is our cleanups. We've removed nearly 22,000 pounds of litter off our beaches, oceans, waterways, parks. So certainly our main program is the cleanup initiative. We do have a new curriculum that we're rolling out just in time for this pandemic year of 2020 for kids from kindergarten to 12th grade. We're super excited about our new curriculum. People can download it right off of the website for free. It's free to parents, teachers, professors, like-minded people. So that's something we're really excited about rolling out even more in the coming months, and certainly in 2021 as well. So Yeah, that's just that. We just keep the foundation very structured and focused. We're not all across the board. We're not doing like fancy parties and hanging out with like throwing elbows with famous people. Like it's old fashioned, getting our hands dirty, boots on the ground, picking up litter, certainly going to be doing more educational activities with kids. And so it's just our way of giving back.
Totally.
Yeah.
So with your educational work, with the curriculum, what kind of things, if you were to kind of give our audience a couple of basic great pieces of information that they could use, like to change the way that they act around the ocean and the way they can help keep our beaches clean, keep maybe if there's a habit that could change or some piece of curriculum you'd love for them to know, what would that be?
Well, I would just keep it very simple. I see people discard trash every day, whether it's a cigarette or a 12-pack of White Claws or whatever it is.
Sure.
For one, everything in the street, on the sidewalks, it finds its way down to the beach and eventually into the ocean. And so, the smallest thing, like a cigarette butt, do you like eating fish, sushi? Because I'll tell you, fish don't know the difference between a cigarette butt and something else. And unfortunately, fish eat cigarette butts, they eat plastic. It gets into, the ecology of our oceans, fish, birds, they all eat it. It's just a terrible thing. And I grew up with the knowledge of knowing if I littered, not only if I littered, but if I walked past a piece of trash on the beach and I didn't pick it up, one of the older local guys would absolutely kick my ass.
Right.
That's just the way it was. I honestly, I feel like our country, our society, our communities have become very passive. We don't really have the locals on the beach kind of mentoring and governing the younger guys and teaching them. Like, look, I grew up on a beach where if you were disrespectful, you got beat up. It's just the way it was. You littered, you disrespectful, like you either got real good at fighting quickly or you got beat up. That's just the way it is. And
maybe a bit of
both.
Like
we're really lacking. I think our curriculum is really just getting back to the basics of just respect. Like respect one another, respect the beaches, respect the oceans, and just do your part and just throw your trash away. The thing that kills me about litter, there's no reason for it, and it's so solvable. Not only do you just not litter, but when you see litter, just pick it up and throw it away. It's not a big deal. It's like putting on a mask. Stop crying, stop bitching, do your part, and do it.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
It's cool that you, first of all, our generation, I feel like you said, I grew up in a time where littering, there were like commercial campaigns to stop you from doing it. It was like a big part of the conversation in the world. And I can't even fathom opening up my window in my car and just dropping a cup out there. I can't even, that sounds preposterous to me. And I always, and I feel like everybody should feel the same way. But then I witness it and I go, what is wrong with that person?
It makes me so mad.
It makes me so mad because I go, what went wrong in your upbringing? And to your point, you said somebody didn't get on them hard enough about that behavior and really mentor them, and let them know.
Well, and I think there's also a lack of understanding, right? Like one of the wonderful things about infrastructure, right? this word infrastructure is that we've built this wonderful system of handling flood, right? So you get all this water. And the water all goes into this drainage system. The drainage system all runs downhill, and it goes to some place that's lower. In the case of pretty much everywhere, the lowest point has water because that water does the same thing, right? So you think, I just throw it on the street. I haven't caused a problem. It's just whatever. It's just it's no problem. You don't realize we've actually built a system to keep your house and everything from being destroyed by water that takes everything that's on the street whenever it rains, puts it into drains, and sends it to the ocean. Like we've actually designed a system to do that. So whenever you put trash in there, You are literally, you've just next storm, that's in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
And people don't get it.
Yeah.
After the rain, and people still go surfing after the rain. I mean, it's insane to go surfing after the rain these days. And back to what you said, rolling down your window and throwing trash out your window just freely, like that's. Are we allowed to like cuss on this podcast?
We try to keep it a little try to keep it a little PG, but we get your drift.
I just can't. I can't even fathom that. I mean, I feel like there's a group. I don't know if it's an age group, whatever, demographically, but there's people in our world that think it's okay to roll down their window or open their car door and just discard their trash on our streets. Yeah, and it's just unbelievable. It's like we've become this spoiled, entitled society, and it's wrong. And honestly, it's weird that we have to now go back into classrooms and re-educate kids, children, about the harmfulness of littering. Like,
right? It's absurd.
It is.
Isn't that common sense? And that's just, like, I just don't understand. I'm just clearly, I must be getting older. I don't know.
Well,
we are too.
That's it's what you don't see doesn't hurt you, right? That's part of the problems. I think is I think more people need to. Honestly, more people should surf, or at least get on a boogie board,
or get out to the beach.
No, we don't need.
No, don't surf. Don't.
That's right. James said he likes to be left alone. So no, we need more people to go to coastal cleanups and see the trash.
Yeah, we need more volunteers. We need more volunteers and less litter bugs. How about that?
Yeah, I say it.
Compromise.
I say it because when people are actually there, when you're in it, right? When you're part of that community and you're seeing what's happening, then suddenly it becomes real. I think people for some reason, like, we live in our own little bubble, right? Everyone's got they spend half their life.
Certainly this year.
Yeah, especially this year.
But even beyond this year, just with phones, people are a foot away from their screen at all times, and less 6 inches away from the screen at all times, and they're not seeing that there's a world out there where there is aquatic life, man. There's fish are dying, turtles are dying, like this. It's a mess.
So you're saying there's a life outside of your iPhone?
Right. I know, it's crazy.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
Yeah. I always say, everyone's looking down while they should be looking up. Yeah. And I know from my experience and from talking to many, many volunteers over the years that they say once they attend one of our cleanups, they basically have a trained eye for litter. Because I will walk with all volunteers and I'll show them, like, I don't care what beach I'm at. Yeah. Every high corner up on the beach, there'll be trash. And not necessarily big pieces, could be little pieces of styrofoam or straws, but there's litter on every beach. Yeah. And I think that once you do attend and volunteer at a cleanup, whether or not it's one of ours or somebody else's, you will not walk past another piece of trash again. And I feel like that's our biggest accomplishment, and passing the torch to other people in becoming eco-warriors and doing their part in picking up litter. Not just not littering, but also not walking past it.
That's great. And I'm glad you led us to the next point, which is, you're educating. We're talking about the youth of today. That's what the cause and the goal of EcoWarrior is to instill that in today's young and youthful minds to know about litter. But I want to know what brought you to EcoWarrior in itself. Like, what was that moment in your life where you were surfing and you said, I'm going to do this? When did that direction and shift in your journey lead you to starting EcoWarrior?
I could clearly tell you it was mid-May 1993. I was sailing through the Tahitian Islands with ESPN. We were doing a new docu-series called Hot Summer Nights. And I was one of the pro surfers chosen to star in this new series called Hot Summer Nights on ESPN. And so our first trip, we flew to Tahiti. We were on like a 52-foot brand new cat. We had a chef on board. I mean, it was just,
that's awesome.
back then, we were like treated like full-blown stars. I mean, it was unbelievable. And they just rolled out the carpet for us to do this TV show. And it was really, really heavily promoted. It was just commercials nonstop on ESPN. It debuted or first aired after the NBA Finals that year in '93. And so it was just an unbelievable opportunity for me. And I vividly remember us sailing. We were on, I don't know the
That's okay. That's okay.
Anyways, we were on one side of this island, and it was super windy, and the trash was collecting. And I remember thinking, you know, we're in the middle of paradise in Tahiti. How is all this trash like floating around? I just couldn't like figure out what was going on. But seeing that basically in the middle of the ocean in Tahiti, it just really, it was heartbreaking to see that. It was truly heartbreaking. And it wasn't in that moment that I thought one day I'm going to start a foundation and call it EcoWarrior. But I will absolutely say that seeing that, experiencing that, it changed the way I thought of our oceans and our beaches. And it certainly got me on the path to thinking, hey, one day when I have a big enough platform and I'm able to, I'm going to do my part and I'm going to give back to it. And so through the years, I'd done a lot of actual environmental activism, paddled out in the Killing Cove with Hayden Panettiere in Japan to protest the tens of thousands of killings of small whales and dolphins, and led protest marches in Chile. And so I sort of gained a reputation, and then somebody coined me the EcoWarrior. So,
awesome.
You know, from 93 throughout the years, I was on this path, and the path eventually collided with me being coined the EcoWarrior, and then having the opportunity to be the founder of my own foundation, the EcoWarrior Foundation, which I now view as all of ours collectively in the world. You know,
that's the only way to do it.
We all do our part.
Yeah.
So what was the official starting year of EcoWarrior Foundation?
That would be, we became a 501c3 in April of 2014.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome.
So how can people find out where they can, where can people join one of the cleanups and be part of the cleanups? Where would they need to go?
You could just go to eco-warrior.org. All our information's there, our current numbers. You know, obviously this year, 2020 being a pandemic year, we're not doing any cleanups right now. We're focused on our new curriculum. And, but, you know, come again 2021, we'll be out there cleaning up beaches, our oceans, waterways, and parks, you know, probably in a neighborhood near you.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Now, the big question is, can we watch Hot Summer Nights anywhere?
Is
Is it streaming?
you guys still there?
Yeah,
Can you see
Can
us?
we hear us? So we got like technical problems. We're still here. Hello.
Oh, there you are. We broke
It
up there.
froze for a moment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was making the joke. Can we watch Hot Summer Nights anywhere?
You know what? I'm trying to find it. I'm looking for that footage. You know, I think I have
let us
an
know.
old VHS tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find it. I will try to find it. You can weave it in with the podcast. But it was a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to. You mentioned traveling to Tahiti, and I gotta know, when you were out doing that traveling with ESPN or at any other point, have you found the place where you were able to get just completely on your own, quiet, amazing surfing that you've just where you've been somewhere where it's almost like no one even know you could surf there? Have you had that moment?
I will not name the island in Tahiti,
You won't? Okay.
but
Because you don't want to ruin it for others.
Well, I'd like to go back one day too.
Yeah.
So there, you know, we went to this little island in Tahiti, and there's just the most incredible wave there that is so hollow. I mean, it's like the kind of wave that you draw on your school folders while you're in school. You know,
Yeah.
It's that perfect. And so we went there and we sort of exposed this wave. And I would just say that the locals were not too happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
ESPN did this whole huge starring James Pribram and the Gotcha Pro team and all this. You know, it was a really big deal. I literally went from like a 0 to a hero overnight. It was pretty pretty wild.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's great.
Well, I know we're having a lot of connection issues. Of course, it doesn't help that we have fires that are up by Mount Wilson, and so who knows?
Yeah, maybe that's the
If
problem.
some of our communication is being lulled because 2020 decided that we just needed to have a little bit more adventure by catching on fire here on the West Coast. So, are you guys doing okay down by you? I'm assuming you're by the beaches.
A little better, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now we're good. I mean, there is a lot of smoke in town from the surrounding areas and the fires. And Laguna Beach knows all too well about wildfires. We had 2 really, really bad ones, one in 78 and one even worse in 1993. We lost nearly 400 homes that year. So,
wow.
Anytime you see smoke or smell smoke in the air in Laguna Beach, it's
nerves.
It's something that as a town we almost lost our entire town, and those of us who still live in the area know it very well, and we're always vigilant, looking around, and I mean we know what it's like to lose your town to fire. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say on the EcoWarrior thing, because I see that your mission, the mission of the company, it's simple. It says on your website, it says to educate, inspire, activate, and motivate individuals and communities to keep our beaches and oceans clean and pollution free. That's a great mission statement. And what I was curious of, we already talked about, we bagged on the litter bugs and the morons. Have you seen something inspirational out there that has happened through EcoWarrior, something, a change, a changing of the tide, if you will, where you've seen some behavior improve, witnessed it and been like, yes, we're getting somewhere?
I see things every day. I get a lot of emails from, anyone from 5 years old to in the early 70s. And I get a lot of messages on Instagram and Facebook of people doing their part on their own, and they want to send me a little note saying, hey, look, you've inspired me to do my part.
Yeah.
And so I feel like every day there are people out there certainly doing their part and participating. I would like to see, as a whole, the culture, our society, just start to say, this is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Not just littering, but we're in a year of just a pandemic. We still have an election ahead of us. I mean, I feel like we're seeing a glimpse of what our future could be day in and day out if we don't get serious about it and do something about it. And that's all of us collectively.
Yeah, that we all have to work together if we're going to get through this, and some changes need to be made.
Yeah, I mean, my hope was coming out of this pandemic that it would sort of, what's the word? Like reset, restructure the way that we think, and get away from this I mentality, this sort of, I look at me, sort of this Kardashian, social media darlings of the world, all this BS. Like, let's get back to being good neighbors, good people, giving back, smiling, saying hello, being polite, having manners, helping people across the street, helping them grab something on a shelf in a store they can't reach. Like, I feel like we need to get back to the basics of just being good human beings and like starting up And that's something I was hoping to see more of from this pandemic. I'm still hopeful of that. Obviously, watching the news is something I don't particularly like to do anymore. And when you see, and I mean, it is funny, but it's not. The sad truth is we need to all do something and rally our country again, as we did after 9/11. And when you put on the news and you see two innocent cops sitting in a car and some coward walks up with a gun and shoots them, I mean, to me, that is just horrific on so many different levels. And the protests and the riots, like maybe we should just turn off social media and go back to the beginning, as I said, because I feel like we're headed down the wrong path. And although I'm very hopeful that we could correct this, I don't know. I would say it's very, very scary.
Not to jump in and promote something else, but I saw, I don't know if you've seen it. I saw a show called the Social Media Dilemma on Netflix.
Yeah.
That hit the spot. I was like, wow, that, when you look at the creators of it, sort of breaking down exactly what it's doing and how it's doing it and why it's doing it, it makes you sort of realize we really do need to unplug. And I kind of feel like the pandemic almost made it worse because you couldn't get outside and talk to your neighbor. You couldn't get outside and see another person. Like it almost doubled us down.
Yeah.
A little bit on it.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, I feel like as people were becoming less and less personable, the phone and calling anymore. Before, people were emailing, calling less, but now it's like people aren't emailing and or calling people, they're just texting. Like people don't even talk to one another anymore.
Right.
I'm so old fashioned. I call people and they get weird. Like, why are you calling me? Why don't you text me? I'm like, 'cause I don't want to text you. I'm not a millennial. I'm an old fashioned man.
I do the same thing. It drives my friends crazy. They get so mad at me because I call them. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? We always called each other. Why can't I call you now? It's like, well, just text. No.
I know. The world is changing.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think you're right that the pandemic has made it worse. Like we're all becoming robots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not neighborly. We're not friendly. We're not polite. We don't call one another. We'll text. Hey, how are you? Like, just pick up the phone. Just come on, be a person. Be a human being.
Get that
Don't
contact.
be a robot. Like speak to one another.
Yeah. The one thing that during this pandemic. And we don't get to do it right now, especially because we're up in Pasadena, so we're pretty close to where the smoke is pretty bad. But when we were in the thick of the pandemic, the worst of it, and all you could really do with your family, your loved ones, is go for a hike or go for a walk and get out of your house and just be out in nature for a minute. Right now it's not as easy, but that was a very wonderful time to remind everybody that how important the natural world is. And I would imagine that walking along the beach and on the coasts,
but not surfing. Let James have his waves. Doggone it! You want to give him peace of mind. But reconnecting. I know that when I walk in the mountains and I'm with the trees, I'm suddenly like the noise of social media and the noise of the news and that feed is quiet. It goes away. Well, you realize it's not real.
It's not real.
That's the thing. It's like you get stuck in that social media world and you think this is the world. It's not. None of it's real.
It's just,
really. I mean, it's just a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I firmly agree. I listen to people talk politics and this and that, and part of me is kind of like, whew, all right, well, good luck with that. I'm gonna go to the beach. So,
sometimes you have to.
I mean, I just feel like people get so caught up in social media and the news and this and that. They like literally stop living.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. No, life becomes, can I win the argument?
Yeah, everyone's an expert now, right? Everyone's an expert because
that's so true.
Well, when the smoke clears, literally and figuratively, and we can go do a coastal cleanup, we would love to join you on one of those big events. So we got a plan for that for sure. So we got to make that happen in 2021. I guess we're aiming for.
Yeah, I think this year it's just I'm not even sure. We actually have to get permits to do cleanups on the beaches and in parks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. And there's a lot of paperwork and permits and insurance. Like there's a lot that goes into doing actual cleanups. Yeah. I mean, we don't, nothing against the smaller cleanups, but we normally average about, 200 or more volunteers coming out. So we have Chronic Tacos. They're one of our partners.
Nice.
They come out, they serve lunch to all our volunteers. And,
that's great.
One thing I would like to get more involved in 2021 is working with at-risk kids and working with veterans as well, and doing events with children and giving them the opportunity to go to the beach, do a cleanup, and then we get them in the ocean and we teach them how to surf, or if they wanted to swim or just have a good time, like tacos, cater lunch. But I really want to do more work with at-risk kids, as well as working with veterans that can have suffered from PTSD or life-altering injuries. But I'd really like to start giving back a bit more in that manner as well.
That's great.
That sounds
That's
really
great.
cool.
I mean, and what a great way to do it. It's if you've ever been to the ocean, you know what an incredibly peaceful and amazing experience it is to be out there on the beach. So I mean, that's a great way to do it. You teach them something, you get them involved in something, and you give them one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. Yeah. So that's terrific. That's great to hear that. Well.
Yeah, but before we wrap things up, awesome. I wanted to, before we go, because this has been great, and I'm so happy, make sure everybody goes and checks out. It's at eco-warrior.org. There's a lot of information there on how you can get involved, you can donate, you can support. But before we get out of here, I want to ask you, do you have the craziest surfing story of your career? I want to know, do you have the story that when you're at a party and everybody goes, okay, James, you got to tell that story. You got one for us?
I mean, how much time do you guys have?
For a crazy story, all the time in the world.
I mean, I'll tease it. So
okay.
Have me back on. But I mean, I would either tell the story of sailing from Rio to Cape Town when my girlfriend at that time had a little fling with the captain.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Well, she said it was more emotional than physical, I guess. It's
I'm sure that made it all better for you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, it was just emotional.
The ending was perfect. Or I would probably tell a story when I got kidnapped in Brazil. That's a pretty good one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, I guess
we'll just spend an entire episode just going through these stories.
This one's called EcoWarrior. The next one's going to be called Story Time with James.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's the Killing Cove with Hayden Panettiere too. That was a pretty interesting.
That was a good one.
That was pretty good.
That's a good story.
There's always, a lot of times, and look, this is just the way it is. A lot of times actors and actresses get involved with environmental purposes because it shines a new light on them, and it's also good for their career. So there's a little bit of so.
Yeah.
My time with Hayden in Japan was very interesting.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have story time with James. That's going to be, that's good. In fact, I don't know why we didn't just start the podcast.
I know. Why
do we care about the environment so much?
Why was my first question just not, hey, James, tell us all your awesome stories, and then we'll get to everything else.
That's hilarious.
No,
but go ahead. Sorry. No, thank you for coming on the show, though.
Dirty laundry.
That's it.
Dirty laundry.
Dirty laundry with James Pribram.
Dirty laundry. That's good. Yeah, I think that the one kind of thing.
I gotta take a photo of all of us.
Okay.
So
got it.
Smile.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Got a photo of you guys.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
I post it on Instagram. Otherwise, it never happened.
Right?
That's true. It's not real.
You got to document it.
It's not real if you don't document it.
No, James, we really appreciate you coming on the show today. You were an awesome guest, and I know it cut in, and I know there were some delays and whatnot, but we totally love your heart and what you're doing, and we totally support EcoWarrior and want to get involved.
And the one little lesson, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to the show, that we got out today, all right, so the thing we're going to work on this week is, 1, don't litter.
Don't litter.
And 2, if you see something as you're walking around today that's litter on the road or somewhere in front of you, pick it up.
Throw it away.
That's your goal for the week, folks. That's what we're gonna try to do. That's their one little thing you can do to help the ocean and help our EcoWarrior out.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. And if you see me out there surfing, stay away.
I was gonna say, and the bonus thing that we learned was, if you see James out there in the water,
that's not an invitation.
Find another area. Don't think you're gonna get the story about being kidnapped in Brazil.
That's coming later. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you.
I'm totally kidding, but yes, absolutely. Don't litter, and if you see litter, please pick it up. Just do your part. And I really had a great time on the show with you guys, so thank you very much. It was really fun.
Awesome.
All right.
Great.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and end the call on your end, because we're gonna do a little wrap up here.
A little sign off. Yeah.
But we'll see you soon for story time with James. Dirty Laundry.
Dirty Laundry. That's gonna be my new podcast.
Awesome.
See
great.
you guys.
All right. See you, James. Have a good one.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, that was good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Makes me want to get out in the ocean.
I know.
Pick up some trash.
Why aren't we in the ocean right now?
We need to be at the ocean
now.
now.
I'm not. You're so right though. We should do a remote where we're actually doing one live from
the water.
From the water.
Oh, I'd love that.
Go to an ocean cleanup.
I'm sure we can get a hot spot out there somewhere, right? Get on the internet. Although we don't really need to.
We can just record it and then an hour later we'll post it. We'll do it live to tape, as they say.
Live to tape. We'll do it live to tape. I love it.
That was terrific.
No, he was great. And I know you listeners of the show, obviously there was a lot of, glitching and all that kind of stuff.
We're going to try to cut
I'm going to do the best I can.
We'll just massage it. Because a lot of times it would stop, but then he would repeat it.
Yeah.
And so we'd still get the information.
Yeah.
So I think if you just sort of cut it. So you could be watching this right now, and you'll just see there were random moments where we just changed our position because we cut.
Or if I did a good enough job, then this explanation doesn't even make sense.
People will be like, "Why are you explaining this? You idiots!"
It was flawless. Yeah. I have a feeling it won't be, but I will definitely do my best. So anyway, we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
We are not just charismatic megafauna. We're switching it up today.
More than featuring greater parasympathetic nerve activity.
Yes.
I just needed that. I needed that prompt.
Dolphins don't quit.
Nature is perfect. Look at eggs.
We are y'all inclusive.
Don't disrespect Smokey, or it was
don't disrespect Smokey on this show.
I think it was not disrespect. It was like don't mess. That's
Don't
it.
mess.
Don't mess with Smokey on this show. Yeah. Although, can you believe how topical, how relevant the Smokey episode was before this?
Well, it was before, but the other fire was going on.
Yeah, the other fire was. That's why we did it.
It's just that California was like, oh, you thought that was God was like, hold my beer.
Right. Oh, you think there's one fire? There's a lot more. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
God.
We were doing it about all those other fires.
There were fires, and people were like, wow, this is like there's a lot of fire out there.
But it got worse.
And then California exploded.
All hell broke loose, literally.
Not just California, the whole West Coast.
Yeah.
But
anyway, we're doing okay.
We're doing okay.
We're breathing okay.
Our fire brigade, as we call it in Australia, are doing a terrific job.
They are
of keeping this under control.
Yeah, we got LAFD is doing awesome, and I think some other cities have been flying in to help us out too.
The county fire department. Yes. I mean, and the Canadians came. They brought super scoopers.
The Canadians. That's who I was thinking.
They brought the Canadians.
The Canucks came down to help us out.
This has been a team effort.
Yeah,
folks.
So we're looking at our windows now. We do see it's a little smoky, so we're hoping that this will be we'll get this done soon.
They said by October 15th it'll be done.
Actually, you want to know the worst news is?
What?
It's been extended to October 30th.
Oh, Halloween almost.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal, and I know we already did our tag.
We did our tags,
technically,
but this is
over,
bonus.
so you're just
you
listening
can
to
leave
bonus
if
content.
you want.
Yeah, you can go. The podcast is over. You don't have to listen to this. But what they've been reporting is that it has been too long since this has burned. And the reason that the fire is just so huge and so disastrous is because there haven't been any backburns. There hasn't been anything remotely grazing and near any of the, like, there's so much
Stuff to burn.
so much tinder in this place. So they're actually letting it burn. They're pushing it away from places where it can cause damage, and they're letting the fire
They got to let it happen.
do what it's got to do to kind of reset the forest a little bit. So
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
That's the story. I think our new, the Biofriendly is over when we Muppet wave. That's how you know.
That's how you know.
The
Until
tags,
then-
because we could tag and then we could jump back in. Like we could suddenly be like, oh, we're on a little.
Oh, it's not over.
It's not over.
Yeah.
But when we Muppet wave,
then it's over.
then it's over.
Yeah. So thanks again, James Pribram from.
Thanks again, James
He's
Pribram.
not just from EcoWarrior. He
is the
EcoWarrior.
EcoWarrior. He earned the name, and then he started the foundation. So
And
again,
he is the coolest guy.
yeah, super cool guy.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to hang out with him in person.
I cannot wait to find out the story about his girlfriend's adventure with the captain.
From Rio to Cape Town.
yeah.
So that's a journey.
A serious journey.
Yeah,
So
that's a big one.
Yeah, like because that's a good looking guy there.
Yeah, he's a handsome
great
dude.
attitude,
Handsome fella.
successful,
surfer, professional, was on TV, was in hot summer nights.
I mean, for God's sakes, what is she thinking?
What is she thinking?
So this must be a good story. We
Yeah.
gotta hear
We
that
gotta
one.
get
So
it.
that'll be eventually on the Biofriendly
on
podcast.
the Biofriendly podcast.
Is that it?
That's when you know.
We did it.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.